Hello and welcome back. It's time for the next game. My name is Bryce. Joining me here on the desk this one time to break down the winners bracket final, we've got Bravo and we've got Wonderboy. And this leads me to the most important question of the day. Bravo, you had Gaskin with you last time. Which one do you prefer?
Oh wow! I knew this wasn't going to be. I knew this wasn't going to be a real question.
I'm sat right here, bro.
Right now, I've got Wonderboy next to me, and he is my favorite.
This guy.
Co-analyst.
This is stuff.
He's your favorite.
Wonderbrav, am I right?
That's a good duo.
Yeah.
Wonderbrav.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
I like it very much.
Well, you certainly keep me uplifted. All right. Well, let's kind of get your first thoughts for this one. And yeah, I was about to say, Wonderboy, you seem to be a little bit
really
tall there.
this tall, really, am I?
Yeah.
I mean, I've just adjusted my stall. I'm much more of an appropriate height now.
There we go. Okay, right. This is a good game. This should be Fabi versus Xmen. Fabi so far looked dominant. Xmen, again, God Squad coming into this one, but not had the greatest of results to exactly match that one. Wonderboy, we haven't had you on the desk for the last game, so I'm going to start off with you. Give me your first impressions.
Yeah, I mean, I think you called it perfectly. Fabi, undefeated so far this season. They've looked really, really hot. They haven't dropped a game yet here at Summer Finals. They swiftly dispatched Vibe 4-0 earlier on in the day. It was the first game of the day. Across the board, on the other side, we have Xmen, like you said, Jimbo, Chalky, Ramirez, Snipe Drone, a really talent-packed squad. Haven't really reached their full potential during regular season play, but it's all about finals right here. They were in the winners bracket final. They're against their arch nemesis here. Nemesis, is that the right word? Nemesis? Their arch nemesis. Bravo just looks completely
I think
blank.
arch nemesis would just be easier.
I think you guys are both right.
Yeah, no, see, that's the right answer. Why can't Walshy be more like you?
I've been asked that a lot of times, actually. Recently.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. All right, Bravo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a match that could be tight, but I think I agree with Gaskin, what he mentioned. Just the fact that Xmen is going to have to play at a certain level to get where Fabi is. But we'll have to see if this one goes the distance. We heard Gaskin say that he was thinking it could be 4-0. Do you agree?
For Fabi, I think, it's very likely. I mean, he played very, very well this morning earlier on. So, yeah, I think there's definitely the potential there.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's find out whether or not the vetoes change your mind and how the maps actually play out. So here's the map 1 vetoes. This is how it does go down to begin with. We're going to have Colosseum, Stasis, and Fathom all get removed. And again, we're heading on to Truth for the first map of the series.
Yeah, Xmen actually undefeated on Truth. So I believe it was actually Fabi who banned. So basically they had a choice between Truth and Fathom. They decided to go with Truth, clearly very confident on that game type. Although Xmen, the guys that they're facing, they're actually 3-0 on this game type, whereas Fabi on the other side, they actually have a loss on their record. Fabi 4-1, so more wins, but they also have a loss on their record as well.
All right, okay, so does this help you in any part of it to kind of figure out which you think is going to win here?
I think I'd like to see the game types before I can really make a proper prediction, but in my heart of hearts, I honestly think Fabi probably should really be taking this series.
Here's the interesting thing. Now, you've already said 4-0, right? You said a potential 4-0.
Yep.
They do it again. They still won't have dropped a map to any of the teams who qualified for finals. They didn't do it in the season.
Yep.
They could potentially be the champions of Europe without dropping a single map to anybody who turns up to finals.
And how scary is that?
Yep.
Ridiculous. That's actually very scary for next season.
Yeah, fall season as well as next World Championships as well. I was thinking, just at a first look, Fabi looks like potentially what could become the best squad from Europe if they keep this up for the next few months.
All right, well, I think we can take a look at all of the maps now and kind of figure out how this entire series goes down. Actually, no, change my mind. We're not going to do that. We're going to do predictions first. I want you a blind prediction. I want you to kind of go with your gut, your instinct, what you're thinking it goes down. Wonderboy, I'm going to start with you.
Fabi. I think it's hard to bet against them because they have that undefeated record during the regular season. I'd like to say I've bet against Ramirez in the past and he's come up trumps, but I still think Fabi so far have looked very, very strong, and I can't really bet against them either.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. I think they look like a championship team. They don't look like they've shifted at all. We heard talking to the team earlier, Matt was talking to them, they feel like they've made the online to LAN transition easily, and I feel like that's the Fabi team we have here. Well,
I'm going to join you. I keep saying I keep agreeing with you, but in this case, it's a very easy pick for me. This team so far hasn't lost a map to any of the teams in attendance today. There's no reason for me to doubt them. There literally hasn't been a single reason I can figure out to doubt them. The only thing against Fabi is the caliber of opposition they're facing. The Xmen are a very good team. And that's pretty much the only thing you say. It's not that you can see any weaknesses within Fabi. It's more that the Xmen are they're pretty good and they have got really big team players on their team. And that's it. What else do you have against them? You have nothing against Fabi. They just haven't lost a map.
Yeah, and now considering coming into today, The big question mark was, can Fabi make that transition from online to live event? And they've done that flawlessly. They have not dropped a map so far, and I think they could even continue their form here in this series.
All right, well, it is time to get this one underway. It's going to be Fabi versus the Xmen. So it's over to our casters, Gaskin and Onset. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Brycey. Welcome to the casting desk. My name is Onset. As previously mentioned, for the first time ever, I am joined by Daniel Gaskin. It's such a pleasure. We're making history right now.
This is Halo Esports history. The on-skin combo is real, and now we get to cast the best game of the day. Potentially could be a replay later of the grand final as well, so this is a good one.
I'm not sure about that name still. I'm sorry, the on-skin.
You don't like the on-skin?
We'll think about that afterwards. But
Okay.
You're quite right. This match that we have coming up for you now, Fab E-Gaming versus the Xmen in the winners bracket final. Arguably the top 2 teams in Europe, and definitely 8 of the best players that we have at the moment.
Yeah, and going into this first game as well, true to CTF, both teams have played this game today. Both teams have won it as well, so a 4-0 record for Xmen if you include today's games, 5-1 for Fabi if you include today's games as well. So Fabi have actually dropped this map, obviously to one of Pulse or Dinosaurs, because that's the only teams they have dropped maps to so far this season. So Fab E can bleed, but can the Xmen and the professor behind them make them bleed?
It's going to be a very good question, and one we are going to find out the answer to very shortly indeed. As we see all of the players there, we have Snipe Drone, we have Jimbo, we have Chalky, and of course on the end there we have Ramirez on the Xmen side. And on the other side, the Fabi side, of course, Kimbo, Mose, Respectful, and of course the last man himself, 2 Foxy. But we are loading into the game, Gaskin. Capture the flag tree, just moments away now.
Yeah, and I'm really going to be looking at players like Ramirez and like 2 Foxy, the new additions to these squads. They need to do so much. 2 Foxy used to do a lot for Xmen, but Ramirez now has to take some weight on his shoulders. A very objective, kind of minded player. So, to be honest, I think he's the player I'm going to want to start things off with. So let's kick things.
Well, make sure you're part of this conversation, everyone watching in the stream, people in the crowd as well. I want to hear some noise for this series because this is going to be one of the biggest games we are going to see all day. We're starting this one off with Ramirez, as you pointed out, Gaskin. He's going to be pushing down bottom, and it looks like he's going to win the fight, and he's going to have control of that sword. Actually picks up another kill there across map. Can't see if that camouflage has actually been picked up by Chalky as well. So let's pop over to Chalky and see what he can do with that.
Yeah, Chalky, nice. We saw this from an earlier series as well. Chalky is very patient with the camouflage. He lets another player push for it first before he gets into a gunfight, allows his teammates to come and support him. I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes for this fuel rod cannon as well, just so he can do some real damage to the opposition team.
And looks like you read his mind indeed. Chalky does indeed have that combination of the camouflage and the fuel rod. Starts the kill off there. Jimbo actually cleans that one up. Jimbo picking up a double kill in the kill feed there. And look at the aggression coming early out of the Xmen straight onto the Fabi base. This is not what we expected to see at the start of this game.
Yeah, Xmen have kind of shown that Fabi can be a little bit weak on CTF games. I mean, today, CTF hasn't been great for Fabi, so I'm not surprised that Xmen are just going to get in their faces. Chalky doing a lot of work with this camouflage, just being able to get behind the other team. Needs to be careful, though, as it does look like he's got some real pressure coming from the other team. So let's have a look and see what Snipe Drone's doing.
Incredible defensive plays there from Fabi, managing to clear out pretty much every player from the Xmen on their base, as we see Snipe Drone going 1v1 versus Mose here. Mose manages to stay alive. Grenades are coming in. 2 players are coming in. Mose actually hits that stick on Snipe Drone to clean him up. Let's hop over to Kimbo now. The most solid player, in my opinion, shot-wise, that we see in Europe in this season. He's going to be trying to do some more defensive work. Ramirez trying to be sneaky under that base, but Kimbo's too smart for that one. Turns around, responds to that call out beautifully. Jimbo going to be challenging it off P3, takes him down, and just a battle for map control at the moment, Gaskin. Neither team can get a foothold in this game.
The Jimbo versus Kimbo battle, and earlier on we saw Kimbo doing some real work with the fuel rod cannon. He's one of these players that he will find those power-ups, he'll find those power weapons, and he will put them to good use. Chalky just holding top mid though, just being that anchor position for his team. He's really kind of been one of these players that has stepped up as more of a support role when he's got players like Snipe Drone on his side.
But he did just run into a fuel rod from 2 Foxy there. And let's go on board with Mose as we see him pick up that sword kill. Now Mose with the sword is something to be scared of if you're Xmen. He's just one of those players who always seems to make it count. Throws a grenade in here on the jump up, trying to drop under the base here to find Chalky. Chalky, look at that lunge from Mose. Perfect use of the Spartan ability to make sure that he connected with that sword lunge to take down Chalky, and now he's just being a nuisance stuck under the Xmen base.
How many times have we seen those long lunges today, and just in general across the season? Mose and Respectful always have one of those swords in their hand, especially, it just seems like on Truth, these guys just have a magnet, as actually Fab Mose taking out Chalky there. Fantastic pistol work there from him. He will have support from Kimbo as well, and they might want to move this flag.
It looks like this flag is going to be moving as well. Not sure if that is actually being pulled. It's actually Jimbo trying to get a stop on it. Mose flanking under the base now. He's going to be running this one with the sword as well. So it is down to the rest of his teammates to get some kills, as we see a player actually from the Xmen jumping on that return. It's going to be too Foxy. Snipe Drone actually swaps over here. Kimbo does get a touch on that flag though, so Snipe Drone trying to do what he can do, but the first flag is going to go in for Fab E. So they are 1-0 up. Kimbo putting that one home.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start from Fabi. They finally found their footing though. They got control of the sword. They were able to get into the base. They kind of slowly pulled that flag across the map, but every player was there to like kind of just train it across and finally put it in. Kimbo's taken down by Chalky. Let's hop on over to him and see what he can do.
Chalky had a really solid start to this game, but as you say, the first time we really see some pressure from Fabi on the Xmen base there, and they were able to take advantage of it. So we see Chalky trying to finish off this kill on 2Foxy. Does actually manage to get away 2Foxy there. He has the sword now, misses that one. Mose wins the battle in the short range exchange there as we hop on board with 2Foxy. Not seen a lot of him too much in this game so far, but he is the glue on this team, and he is going to allow all of these other players to shine.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those players that's going to be making the calls, and I just think that Fabi in general, their flag pulls are going to be a lot more consistent than Xmen's. I feel like Xmen are going to pull a lot of flags and they might result in nothing, but Fabi are going to be a lot more clinical. They'll pull them when they have maybe 3 or 4 down. Needs to be careful though, Foxy is taken down as he's pushing into the base.
But here comes the push from Fabi. 2 players were one shot as well. I believe it was Snipe Drone, and Snipe Drone managed to stay alive there and shut down that pull from Fabi. But look, Kimbo has the fuel rod again. They are firing them in. That's a double kill to Kimbo. Let's go over to the big man himself, because Sims has mentioned this 1,000 times already in this event. When this man has the fuel rod, he knows how to make this weapon count. Fires these shots on Ramirez, takes him down, cleans out his own base. We have a second flag running as well. Not sure who that is in the hands. It's actually Mose once again running with a sword, and he also has that camouflage stand.
Yeah, how key is it having that sword when running a flag? And I like what this is doing, Mose. Oh, he misses the slide. He does actually manage to put it in though. He was nearly punished for missing that. Let's move on across to Ramirez. He's been a little bit quiet this game. He's your kind of objective-minded player on the Xmen squad, the newest edition of the Xmen squad.
Yeah, I got a little bit worried there, Dan. I lost my breath because I thought that Mose was going to choke that one, but he managed to see it home. He managed to solidify that second flag. But look, the Xmen are actually running a counter flag here, and it's Jimbo who's running this one home. He's going to be pretty much unscathed unless Kimbo can do something huge at the end here, but Jimbo's going to clean that one up. So Xmen answer back. It's now 2-1 in the favour of Fabi.
Now, I don't know if you remember earlier, Fabi, when they played against Vibe, but both flag games, they were 2-2. So Fabi, they're not incredible at flag, but you know they will still get that W when they need it. Jimbo just being a little bit on the defensive here. I like that. Puts the flag in, then waits in his base, makes sure that they can push out those players so his team can get aggressive and push out of the base.
Yeah, and that was 3 dead there momentarily for Fab E. Xmen doing a great job. Another kill going down in the base of Snipe Drone. Jimbo just patrolling top middle at the moment, trying to locate the spawn point from all of the players on Fab E. He's now moving across to Carbine, expecting some players to potentially spawn up in the bubble here. Gets in a 1v1 with 2Foxy, decides to back down, give his teammates some help before he's turning his attention back potentially to 2Foxy. Here is the 1v1, Jimbo versus 2Foxy, but again, very smart plays from Jimbo, making sure he doesn't get involved in those 1v1s.
Fuel Rod Cannon is up again. I wouldn't be surprised if Kimbo starts to make his move up there, but I'd like to see one of these players just get into that bubble, really control these spawns, not allow these teams to get away with easy pushes off their spawns. As you see, Jimbo just firing shots there to make sure no one spawns at Carbine. He will now put some grenades in to make sure Mose can push up as well. Fantastic work from Jimbo here.
And that was momentarily 4 dead for Fabi, but that, although Jimbo did his best to block the bubble spawn, it looked like Respectful actually did manage to sneak a spawn in there. So he's going to shut down that run, and that attempt at a flag is going to be shut down for the Xmen. 2Foxy now, once again on board with him, has that Storm Rifle on. He's just trying his best to control P2. He has a player on his radar. Not sure what happens to that camouflage as well. Not sure if any of the players have that in effect. I'm not sure they actually do. So let's see this 1v1. 2Foxy going to be taken down. And again, we're back at the stage where it's just a battle for map control.
Yeah, and we'll look at every person I click on, but now I'll move over to the big man that is Kimbo, and he has a fuel rod yet again. It just looks like no one else has it. He actually pulled it back out there. He couldn't finish off Ramirez with the pistol. He says, well, I've got this big green gun, so I'll finish off the kill there. Flag is pulled, and Fabi are just trying to get really aggressive now. Oh, actually, Kimbo killing himself. That's unfortunate.
We shouldn't hype players up ever with their use on a specific weapon, because they end up killing themselves. But we learn, we live and we learn. So let's go on board with Mose. Once again, he has that sword. We've talked about how dangerous this man is with this weapon. He's now flanking the return on these players. Chalky going to be caught off guard here by Mose. He's going to miss some shots. Chalky almost gave him the business there. Snipe Drone giving him some help in that situation. As we see Jimbo now pushing in on the flag. Kimbo is the last player alive, I believe, for Fabi here in the attic. Could be a big win here. He challenges. Kimbo actually wins that one versus Jimbo. So Kimbo 1-0 against Jimbo in this match.
Yeah, Kimbo, he's doing some good work, but the thing is, Jimbo was doing well, just kind of chucking that flag out, making sure that any spawners of Fabi had to return to the base. Obviously, Xmen are on the back foot at the moment, but they're still looking in good nick for this game. I wouldn't count them out just yet. Another Fuel Rod Cannon has spawned. Snipe Drone just putting shots across the map as well. Might actually get a double. Nice shots there from Snipe Drone.
I was going to say, Snipe Drone's been a little bit quiet today in the matches that we've seen him, which is something we really don't come to expect from a player like him. He's usually a highlight reel player. He's usually one putting on the flashy plays for his squad. So I really want to see Snipe Drone having a strong series here. Definitely going to have to if they want to take down Fabi. But we are still 2-1 in this game. Fabi just one flag away from taking this game. We have 3.5 minutes left. Snipe Drone just hanging around on the car attic here, doing his best to just pin all of the Fabi players back into this bubble.
At the moment, it just seems like a battle at P. You have a couple of players just running around on their own carbine side, but we say we've not seen much from Snipe Drone, but there's no sniper on this map, so I will let him off. Snipe is in the name, so you'd be expecting him to do well when there is a sniper on the map. But 2Foxy has been this kind of player. He's the glue in his team. He's been pushing around carbine a lot to try and block those spawns, but he's been kind of caught off guard a couple of times. Chalky here just kind of checking that this flag is going to go in, and actually it is being moved now. I'll try and find that, I believe. Is Kimbo running it? No, I can't even see anyone running it right now.
Well, it is being moved. I think both ones are actually momentarily out here. We're on board with Kimbo, though. He's just picked up a big double kill here. And 2Foxy has actually started moving the flag for Fabi here. There is a player P1. 2Foxy going to finish that kill off. That's a huge double kill. Does have no shields, but he is flying across map with this flag. The flag is back at home. This looks like it could be the third and final flag. Fabi take the first game. They are up 1-0 in this series. 3-1 on Truth CTF.
And I just saw 22 kills there from Foxy, I believe. Doing absolute work. He was really just using that carbine to full effect. He just kept flanking around. He was pulling flags. And Fabi looked hot. I said on Capture the Flag they weren't looking too great, but you could hear Mose there giving some noise. The man who was said to be an online warrior, proving that he is a LAN warrior as well.
Well, we are only one game into this series, Dan. We won't want to give
He's
it
a LAN
away.
warrior.
We don't want to give it away too early. A long way to go. Of course, if you're just joining us, best of 7s in this winners bracket finals. But Fabi are 1-0 up. And incredible performances across the board from most of the players there. Looking at the KDAs on our side, it looks like, I believe it was Kimbo. 22 kills. We talked about him before, how impressive he is without the fuel rod, excuse me, so I trip over my own words, but we did see him kill himself with it once.
Well, we did, but I think he got about 4 or 5 kills with it as well. I mean, 22 and 22 he went in the end. Mo's actually getting 21 kills as well, going a +7, so he was doing a lot of things. The rest of his teams, they didn't really go too positive. Respectful actually went 11 and 17. That's not what we're used to seeing from Respectful. He had the highest KDA across Pro League, but he did have 14 assists, so he was doing some big work. On the other side, Ramirez going 11 and 19. Snipe Drone 15 and 17. So a few of these Xmen players struggling, but we know that Truth CTF, mate, it can kind of go either way. But that is Xmen's first loss on Truth Capture the Flag this season.
Well, that's got to be a huge confidence boost to Fabi Gaming. They're taking, as you say, a game that Xmen are yet to lose this season. So we are going to be moving into Game 2 very soon, but 1-0 if you are just joining us again. Winners bracket final, Fabi take the first game. And one thing that I want to point out from Fabi there was just the consistency across the board. As you say, Respectful, he didn't have the best KDA game, but the amount of damage he was doing in game, and every time that we went on board or we saw kills getting finished, he was still involved in so much of the work they were doing.
Yeah, in general, their shot looked really on. There was a lot of chemistry there, as you would come to expect from probably the best team in Europe. But now we're going into Game 2, which I believe is Truth Slayer. So we've got another Truth map, quite a snowbally map now since they've added those rifles to P2 and Top Carbine as well. Just looking at the stats for Truth Slayer. So actually, Xmen have only played this once in Pro League, and they are 0 and 1 on the other side of the board. Undefeated, of course, from Fabi. They are 3 and 0, and they've only vetoed this 6% of the time. So you'd like to think this one's going towards Fabi as well on set.
And as we have a look on our screens at that beautiful shiny trophy,
Beautiful.
which will be given to obviously to the winners of the first season of Pro League. And Fabi 1-0 up in the series, looking to advance into the finals. Xmen best of 7, long way to go as yet, but True CTF, as you mentioned, Fabi probably favouring them as we actually have the vetoes down. So if you want to just quickly take us through these to see how we got to Truth Slayer.
Yes, so it does look like Xmen banned Coliseum, which, yeah, has been a fairly confident ban from them. They've been banning it quite a lot, only 1-1 across the board. And then the ban of Regret for Fabi. Now, actually, an interesting fact is Fabi have played every game type in Halo 5. A couple of the other teams have been avoiding certain things, but Fabi, they're 1-0 on Regret, so maybe they just wanted to get rid of that just in case in scrims they might not have been performing particularly well. Xmen banning Rig, Fabi then banning Eden, and then Xmen banning Plaza, which, yeah, I'm not entirely surprised, but there is a fairly certain record there. Plaza 1-1 actually for Xmen. They have lost it today though, so perhaps they're not feeling particularly confident.
Yeah, good point. It's obviously fresh in their memories from today, obviously losing that map, as you previously see. We see Havoc on our screen. He seems to be adding a little bit extra to this Fabi. See, the amount of camouflages they seem to be getting, and especially Kimbo, it seems like he's whispering in his ear specifically.
I think coaches help. If they can single out one particular player who maybe doesn't communicate too much, so okay, on Xmen you've got Snipe Drone, not really known for communicating a lot, so you know Xavi is going to be whispering in his ear, maybe communicating for him at times, and then like you said, Kimbo, maybe not. He is a very loud person, but in-game, he can be quite quiet. So that's really where these coaches come into play. Obviously, they're timing camouflages as well, but Professor X himself, he needs to round up his X-Men, he needs to get their mutation going.
They do need to mutate if they want to get back into this series, but if you are just joining us, of course, we do have a giveaway as well, which is just popping up on our screen. Chance to win some Astros and Halo goodies. Head over to esl.gg/EU Finals HCS, and of course, Gas, you can get hold of some rep packs as well.
Wow!
Well, I mean, what else could you want?
Hey, I want some rep packs. I need to get some of those new CLG skins. Oh no, wait, they're not in rep packs. You gotta buy them yourself. Damn!
Yeah, damn it, man. We can pretend we're on CLG. Yeah, we're
Yay!
Halo. Yeah.
Hey, we could be on CLG.
If we
are
to.
not washed up casters whatsoever.
If we wanted to, we could be on any team.
No, I don't agree with that.
No, I don't know why. We'd have to make our own team. But anyway, let's go back to the series. Truth Slayer. Loading into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We will get to that game to you as soon as possible. Gaskin, I want to get your predictions here for this second map.
Honestly, I think this could be a steak dinner. I think
That's a
Fabi
bold
could
statement.
absolutely shut out Xmen here if they are not careful. Xmen need to make sure they come out of the blocks early, not allow the likes of Kimbo to be getting these power weapons. They need to be careful with this camo spawn. I think Fabi in general have been timing their power-ups extremely well, so you did note on Havoc, and now the fist bumps and the hand slaps will come in. Xmen need a response. They need it now if they're going to get back in this series. I really fear if they do go 2-0 down, the confidence will just drop. They'll be a little bit worried. But I think I want to start things off with Jimbo. I mean, he's one of the most known European players, so let's see what he can do.
Let's do that indeed. The game has started off, so let's start this one off with Jimbo. Mr. Ground Pound King himself pushing aggressively across the Kargut Vine. He gets a little bit of help and he takes down 2 Foxy. So that's going to be a strong start here from the Xmen. That is 3 dead, and they should, unless that camo was burnt, actually pick up that first one. And I think that might have actually been burnt by Kimbo. So, Kimbo is going to be charged almost immediately, respectful, and going to be taken down. But Snipe Drone has secured that first fuel rod cannon for the Xmen.
Yeah, camo was burnt, but a nice early aggressive start from the Xmen. Snipe Drone actually just leaping top mid to get that fuel rod cannon and using it to full effect, taking down one of the players. We see the sword in the hand of Ramirez as well, and he's in the action. I would hop across to him if I could. There we go. Let's see what he can do with this sword in his hand.
Yeah, and he's just picked up actually a big double kill on the blue flag. Going to lift up. Respectful is there though, and I like this play from Ramirez, deciding not to challenge and stay alive, but Respectful knew exactly what he was doing. Drops down and finishes off that kill. The fuel rod has actually exchanged over to the Fab E guys. Just a 1-kill game, obviously just at the start of this game for the moment. Nothing too much happening. Mo's trying to finish this kill, but he's going to get taken down by the Xmen there. As we hop on board once again with Snipe Drone. And he's the type of player who you need to go off in one of these Slayers.
Yeah, it just seems at the moment to be he's taking that anchoring position. He's not really pushing out. He's more than happy to just put supporting shots. Maybe that's why he was aware of the sword being around. He's going to let his teammates know. But the Fabi Brigade comes in to back up the sword. And now Xmen seem to be trapped in this base here, Mark.
Chalky does do his best to stop this onslaught though. Kimbo does pick up a kill as well. Snipe Drone, as you say though, Dan, just caught under this base, trying to do what he can to weaken some of these players, but Respectful managed to stay alive with that sword, which is so important, even though he was in a bit of a predicament battle, and he's now slicing and dicing his way through some of these X-Men members, playing this one nice and patiently. I like what I'm seeing from Respectful.
And that is the problem. Respectful and Mose, they get hold of this sword, and their movement is so fantastic that they just manage to stay alive and just be a massive nuisance. Fantastic pistol shots there on Ramirez. Doesn't quite pick up the double because 2Foxy comes in with the ground pound. There's another sword kill from Respectful. Fabi are now heating up.
This is why he is one of the top names in Europe at the moment. Respectful going on a tear here, using that sword to such good effect. They now have a 4-kill lead. That camouflage would have popped up as well. Let's go on board with Mose because he's just picked that one up, but he is immediately taken out. I think it's only fair that we maybe go back to Respectful, sorry, to Foxy, and see what he's doing for this squad.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to Respectful because he died as well. Every button that I press, people are just dying at the moment. 2Foxy is also now taking in the anchor roll. Needs to be careful from that plasma grenade. But basically, Fabi have a decent control of this map. They're pushing out of the base as well. You can see they're pushing in twos, making sure that they control these towers, and they're just catching out X-Men players on their own. Snipe Drone with no support needs to make sure he's not pushing out alone and getting caught out like that.
Oh, great shots from 2Foxy as well, and putting some bullets into his ex-teammate Chalky there, but he is going to be cleaned up. Let's go on board with Ramirez. He's managed to find himself a fuel rod, hits those bullets on Kimbo. If you can keep this weapon out of the hands of Kimbo as well as taking him down, that is a massive thing for X-Men to do. They are down by a few kills in this game, but we haven't even hit halfway yet, Dan, so a long way to go in this one.
And I do love the addition of the fuel rod cannon, actually. Because they added the rifles, this map became really hard to kind of get back into the game, but if you can grab one of these fuel rod cannons, if you can find it on the floor, it is a decent way to kind of get back into those towers, but it's also a very effective tool to flank with because it's so aggressive and hits so hard on your opponents, as actually Ramirez will nearly pick up the double. His teammate does clear that one up, and now he can push in. They're only 4 kills behind here, so they are working their way back into this game.
And that was a fantastic push across Carbine. Ramirez going to be going one-on-one with 2Foxy here. Does have that fuel rod, does back up, and look at that. Snipe Drone coming in, finishing off the kills that Ramirez starts, and now 2 of the players, he actually gets taken down there. I thought he was just going to drop and try his best to stay alive, but great work from Fabi there to single him out and take him down. Let's go on board with Snipe Drone now. As we say, he's been pretty quiet today. He's going to be laying some shots down across map, but we really need to see a big performance of Snipe Drone in one of those Slayers, but they have now tied the game up. That was 3 dead. Last player alive is going to be stuck in red 2. Jimbo picking up a triple kill. Great stuff from Jimbo as Snipe Drone moves into P2 with that battle rifle as well, so he's going to be able to lock down this area of the map and put shots on all of these respawning Fabi players.
Yeah, we're hearing some noise now from the X-Men players as Mose actually does push in. He's died as well though, so let's hop across to Kimbo and see what he can do. At the moment, X-Men are doing really well to get back into the game. They're just pushing around. I said Snipe Drone was caught on his own too much, but Kimbo now slamming that camouflage into his chest. Every single time Kimbo is there for either the fuel rod or the camo. He needs to stay alive here though. He's actually caught out by the sword, who was in the hand of Chalky, I believe, but he's also taken down, so let's have a look what Respectful's doing.
Great plays there. I thought Kimbo was going to get away scot-free there with that camouflage, but he was called out almost immediately. And look at the score now. X-Men, for the first time in the game, going into a lead. 2 kills up now as Respectful is hanging around top Carbine, trying to help support his teammates, as we see 2 of his teammates, that's 2Foxy and Mose, trying to put into this red base and clear this one out, but fuel rod shots are coming in across map. Jimbo's being a nuisance as well. This is looking like some pretty good map control here from the X-Men, and they seem to have really turned this one around.
Yeah, I think both teams have got to be careful not to turtle too much into a base, because if they do that, they will just play into the advantage of the other team. And Respectful's just looking around at the moment, and everyone is dying in this path. 2Foxy's actually got hold of a storm rifle, and he's doing some real work, but now you've got Respectful just laying in those extra shots with the carbine. He will actually be taken down, so let's hop on across to 2Foxy and see what he's doing.
Yeah, 2Foxy, that was almost deja vu. We saw Chalky on that Eli ledge getting taken down for the second time in this game. 2Foxy here just hanging around. The game is now tied up at 30. We've hit that 30 kill mark down. This is where the game really starts to take shape, and it's all about getting this next cycle of power weapons and power-ups. That camo going to be so important. 2Foxy using that storm rifle so effectively to take down Ramirez. Turns around, and it's great awareness there from 2Foxy. Although he killed that player in the base, aware of the potential for him to be spawned behind. Turn around, puts a few shots in, cleans up this kill. Actually, Kimbo finishes that kill himself, and it looks like he could potentially get this fuel, but he's going to be taken down. The game just 1 kill between these 2 teams.
I'll tell you what, this is a lot closer than I predicted. I said steak dinner. There are going to be no steaks whatsoever today. That fuel rod is up, and actually the camouflage will be coming up soon, so I'll try and keep an eye out for that one. I'm expecting Kimbo to be down there waiting for for it. Actually, if I switch across to him, he is already there in position because he knows it should be up any second now.
So Kimbo, this is a massive moment in this game. If he can pick up, look at this, 2 players from Xmen more than aware, and I like what I see from Kimbo there. Knew that he probably wasn't going to get away with his life, so made sure to burn that camouflage. Jimbo picks up a huge double kill. Jimbo has to really take the game in his hands here. This is a player that I want to see step up to the standards we've seen before from him, but he's going to be taken down by Kimbo off of the respawn, and now it's FabE actually taking a 1-kill lead, and look at this. Mose once again picking up that fuel rod and putting it to use, and look at the aggression. He's going to pick up a double kill hit. That's a triple kill at this moment in the game for Mose. That is absolutely massive. That all 3 of those Xmen players, Respectful picks up the final, so that is going to be all 4 players from the Xmen on respawn, and look at this, Mose relentlessly pushing in with this fuel rod.
And that is the kind of confidence you need to win this game. He just jumped on me and he said, I don't care if anyone shoots me, give me some supporting fire, I'll grab this fuel rod. Picked up the triple kill, managed to get another. Now there's 5 kills in this game. He turned that into a tight game, into a nice little lead for FabE. He just needs to communicate with his teammates now. Sword is also on the floor there. He might tell his teammates, but he's just putting shots with his pistol now.
Look at this collapse, and you can hear the noise coming from the stage as well. FabE are getting loud in this room. They are just 5 kills away from going up 2-0 in this series. Mose has been the game changer here, Dan, and again they have them now trapped in the red base as Mose pushes in. Snipe drone's in front of him. That's going to be another kill for Mose here, and Mose really has put this game almost put this game to bed single-handedly.
Yeah, it has. It's just like a feeding ground for Mose now. He's just like, where are they? I'll push in, but let's have a look and see what Kimbo's doing. They just need 2 more kills now. They've got nice control of the map. I don't see any way back into this for the Xmen, if I am honest on set.
Yeah, and Respectful's in a battle as well. He almost took down a player top carbine. Let's go on forward with Kimbo though, putting shots down on Snipe Drone. They are just 2 shots away. Respectful finishes that one up. Kimbo in a perfect position here to lay shots down across map. Respectful picks up the final kill. That is going to be 50-40, and what a swing we saw at the end of that game, Dan. All sparked by Mose and that fuel rod.
I love how much trash talk Mose is given as well. He is letting them know, look, you guys called me out for being just an online warrior, but I'm proving now that I am good on LAN as well. And to be honest, he was the player that really made the difference when it was such a tight game. He pushed top mid, he was confident, he grabbed that fuel rod, and that triple kill, absolutely huge from him. We'll see if we can get a look at some of the stats. I can see now, actually, Respectful getting 15 kills, only 8 deaths, +7. That's the kind of Respectful that I'd be expecting to see, Mark. On the other side, Chalky, 6 and 13, not what we would expect to see from him, but solid all round from FabE. Xmen, they were doing so well, Mark, but it just seemed to, when it got to that 40 kill mark, it was just that, I just said 40 kill mark, that was quite nice. It was just that that fuel rod cannon that really made the difference.
What a play as well, what a decision. We see sometimes players in those tight games not making those. Basically, Mose went, I'm going to win this game. I'm going to win this game. I'm not just playing to not lose this game. I'm going to charge in. I'm going to pick up that first kill. Got a little bit lucky dropping under the base with those 2 players coming off of respawn, but hit every single fuel rod shot, triple kill, and then from there we saw the swarm from FabE. They had them on perfect respawn rotations, and it was incredible play from them. But look at those statistics, Dan. Every single player on FabE went positive.
You questioned yourself a little bit there.
Apart from Mose, who didn't go negative still.
He did not go negative, and I'm not surprised that he is making those plays because this is his moment. We spoke about it tons, like Respectful and Mose, they didn't have the best of times at previous LANs. This is their moment to kind of prove that they are the #1 team, that they are top of European Halo, and they certainly are doing that. Now, going into game number 3, it will be Strongholds on Empire, and you might remember on set that there is a little fact that FabE have yet to lose a Strongholds game across the whole season and today.
Yeah, that's pretty important, if you ask me. I mean, if you aren't losing Strongholds games, I mean, give us some statistics, Dan. I can see you're itching to give us some statistics as you are the resident stato of the HCS over here in Europe.
Well, if you include today's game, they are 6-0. That is FabE. So they've not lost it and they've won 6 times. So one of their favorite game types for sure. On the other hand, Xmen are 1-2, but it's also a low percentage for vetoes for Xmen as well. So I'd like to think this is a close one. So Xmen did get rid of the rig. Eden was got rid of by FabE, and then Plaza also got rid of by FabE as well. So decent bans coming out, but I would say that this one favors FabE once again. And I did say that if they go 2-0 up, I can see this being a 4-0. I mean, these players aren't used to being in this position, losing on LAN like this.
That's very, very true. As you say, these players are used to winning, and as we go across the board, there's some really dejected looking faces. They're only 2 games into this. This is a best of 7 series, and it's just interesting to see we are playing this much Empire, and I think FabE they love this map.
The statistics speak for themselves, and I'm not really surprised that Xmen got rid of the rig as well. Xmen are actually 0-3 on rig, featured it 56% of the time across regular season, so clearly that's not a good one for them. But I mean, looking at that Xmen squad, I mean, combined, they probably have the most tournament wins in European Halo under their belts. You'd be expecting them to get fired up. You don't want to see them looking dejected like this. You're going to be looking at coach. You're going to be wanting to see Xavi to get behind them and really pump them up and say, look guys, you are still in this. You're only 2-0 down. But we spoke to Foxy earlier, didn't we, on set? And he was very confident. He said, look, to be honest, I think Vibe might even make the finals. He thinks that Vibe might even be a better team than Xmen.
He said he thinks after playing them, they are the second place team in Europe at the moment. So if you're an Xmen right now, I want to see an answer from you. I do not want to see them roll over here. I do not want to see them get steamrolled by Fabi. I want them to stand up and show us the players that we know they can be. We are loading into Stronghold's Empire. This is Game 3, Winners Bracket Final. If you are just joining us again, Fabi versus Xmen. Oh, Dan, this is a massive game for the Xmen.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to be a messy one, whether we're going to see a lot of those scraps down in that bottom middle kind of stronghold, or whether there'll be some like nice control coming out from either of these teams. I mean, considering that Fabi do have such a good record, I'm going to be looking at these guys really to show the rest of the world how this map is played. I like the kind of close-up we had of Havoc as well. I think he is a really important kind of fifth member of this team. He said in his VT that Fabi have 4 of the 5 best individually talented players on his team as well. And I kind of wonder, who does he think is the 5th best player? If 4 of those are on his team, is he maybe looking towards Jimbo, perhaps?
Maybe he's counting himself. Maybe
knowing Havoc, he probably does think he's the 5th best player.
That's very true. I think after the team that he was on, we know the secret loss. He was like, yeah, when I was on that, 3 from 3.
It was an interesting decision as well. Obviously, Havoc was in our open circuit on We Know the Secret. He decided to make the move to coaching, and I wonder if he will stick with that if Fabi do win. But let's get going now on Stronghold's Empire. Hand slaps coming around, fist bumps as well. I really want to see Xmen get pumped. I would love it if Xmen took this map, because if they can, we may just get to a Game 7. But otherwise, this could just be a sweep, Mark. I want to start things off actually with 2Foxy. We've said quite a lot about him today.
Yeah, this is a massive swing game for me in this series. We are getting straight into the game though. As you state, starting off with 2Foxy, he's just going to stay at home here, start capturing the red base. Actually just going to hop back. Remember to finish that one off, Perry, as it looks like the battle early on looks to be towards the outside as we see the overshield going to be going up. It looks like Chalky, it's actually Jimbo who's just picked that one up. So let's go on board with Jimbo. So the first overshield of the game is going to go to Jimbo. He takes down Mose. He's got a big smile on his face as well. So it looks like Jimbo is going to have some fun in this one, and that is exactly what you want to see if you're an Xmen fan.
Yeah, I think he was smiling actually because he lost all of his overshield in that battle against Mose. He initially took a pistol fight and said, actually, I don't fancy taking a pistol fight. I'm just going to get my assault rifle out of my back pocket to finish this game. And it does look like this is going to be the area of where most of the kind of congestion is going to be on this outside, near this fan and near this generator. But, you know, down there in bottom mid is where it usually gets messy. Players need to be careful not to dive in too often.
And look at this. Early on, Xmen actually have control of that pit, and it's a 1v1. Mose picks up a huge double kill there somehow. Kills are going to be traded out, but Kimbo smartly rotating around the outside of the map. Now it is going to be Fab-E scoring as they have control of both of the bases, fighting for control of Turbine, and that is a triple cap already, and we've seen how dangerous that Fab-E can be once they have this triple cap.
Yeah, this is the dangerous position for Xmen now. They need to be careful. You can see that Perry on your screen, 2Foxy is pushing in to try and stop any of the Xmen members taking even red base. They just try to keep that trip cap for as long as possible, but they're just going to stay aggressive now. They have the upper hand. They can just keep pushing this Xmen team back, and if they can kind of split up this spawn cycle a little bit and make sure they're spawning 2 at a time rather than 4 at a time, they could be in for a really good game here. Maybe even see something like 100 to 25. They could really be dominant, and you'd expect that with a 6-0 record.
But a big win there from Snipe Drone. He takes down the player. That was actually Kimbo. We hop on board with Ramirez. That was an unfortunate switch because he was immediately killed, but 2Foxy picks up a couple of kills. That is 3 dead now for Xmen, and it looks like they are going to try and jump in this pit. A couple of players from Fabi diving into that pit, getting that nice quick capture. Fantastic stuff from them.
And I like what Fabi did there. They kind of just backed away. They knew that they couldn't get a couple of the members of Xmen off spawn, so they said, look, they're going to go for that bottom mid stronghold. Let them. Then we'll just kind of swarm in on them. They took 3 down, and then they just took bottom mid now back. Xmen have pushed round though to grab the red base as well. So Fabi do need to be careful here. Let's move on across to see how Xmen are performing, as they are going to try and find their way back into this game.
Well, 2Foxy has actually picked up the overshield, and I don't know about you, Dan, but I would like to actually jump into a listening with Xmen, see how they're feeling after obviously being 2-0 down in that series. So we will get that one teed up as soon as possible. Let's see what they're doing. Let's jump straight into that listening now, and let's see what the Xmen are saying to each other in-game.
Don't force the cat. Do not force the cat. Two there. Another one there. One more shot. Yeah, two chasing, Jim. Two chasing. Two there. I'm going to crouch P in the blue court. They might come for trip. I'll crouch here and try and get +1. One's red PR, one's red PR. Blue court weak. Brand's dead on blue. Brand's weak, blue court. Brand's one shot, blue court.
Stand up.
Leave the highs. Let's cat blue.
One P Mo's. One P Mo's. Lobby's going to kill me. One P.
Lobby's one shot.
One PF2, last one. He went up top. Kill him off. One shot, guys. Nice.
Let's behind me.
Go back the blue, Jack. Go back the blue, Jack.
I got blue.
Two in pit.
From blue.
Mine's blue as well.
Peace out. Get out. 2v2 now.
Nice play, Jim. Stand up, you can.
No pit, go in blue court.
Still in pit one.
Kill me. Red pit.
Got blue court.
Saw in 20 seconds.
Maybe one.
Okay. Yeah, no, top tower. I'm going to try and work with this +1. They all look at me.
I can look for blue.
No one's in lobby. I'm going to jump in.
One shot top tower on my body. One shot, he's gone.
Yeah, he's beat me down. He's weak from blue side. From blue. He's jumping up outside. Nice kill.
Nice.
Top P.
Two lobby right
Jim, we need this next round.
Obi's at 34.
Two blue high, Perry as well. Two blue high.
Very down. I got Perry.
Stuck. There's two there. Yeah, I'm getting naded out. Stay alive.
Obi's at 20 seconds. 20 seconds to Obi.
Come in.
They haven't moved in.
Blue window.
Blue outside still.
Spot red.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go west.
Watch out.
One for the barrel.
Red high, Perry, one shot on me. One shot on my body, Perry.
Red two.
Yeah, red 2.
Obi in 5 seconds.
He's red outside now. Red outside and from blue as well. They go west. Three out there. West was like 33.
Red window.
Incredible listening there. We saw Xmen. They are not giving up anything at the moment, but as we jump back on, the triple cap is still in effect. That was difficult to watch from the Xmen's point of view there, because they were just getting slaughtered in every single scenario. It just seemed like 2 or 3 of the Fabi players had the guns directly on Xmen players. Kimbo aggressively pushing in here on this player. Almost actually gets ninja. Jimbo nearly takes him down, but his teammate comes in to help him. And look at this scoreline, Dan. 80 to 20-1 with a triple cap in effect.
You heard the communication as well from Xmen. They were like, get out, we can't get this. And a couple of the players were just caught in that pit and they were getting killed. They know that they're struggling in this game, and Fabi are so close to making this a 3-0. Kimbo has just had a field day with all of these power-ups. Fabi are just looking too strong right now.
This kill feed is insane. Every time we look at it, it's just Fabi. 4 dead once again. They're going to cap the red base, a triple cap again, and Dan, this looks like all she wrote if you are Xmen.
Yeah, now they're just going to push toward this blue base just to finish it off. Ramirez will try and stay alive, but it's going to be a little too late. Fabi go 3-0 up in this series, and well, I think we have found the best team in Europe. If you didn't believe me after map 1, these guys are the real deal on set.
They are indeed. So they go 3-0 up in the series, taking Empire in a commanding fashion there. The statistics will be coming up on board. Look at that smile on Moses' face as well. He looks like a very happy chappy, doesn't he? And now he doesn't. Now he looks quite angry, actually. So Mo's flipping between emotions quite quickly there. Very interesting to see. But Fabi just looking so strong. And we talked about the triple cap, Dan. They are so deadly when they get that triple cap locked in. It is difficult to watch from the Xmen's point of view.
They just don't give Xmen a chance to breathe. They're just constantly pushing in off spawn. They just felt like Fabi were everywhere. And just looking across these statistics now, it looks like Mo's actually was going 18-9 if my eyesight does not deceive me. We can see a few of the strongholds captured there as well. Strongholds secured, actually, only 1 stronghold secured there across the Xmen board, so that one's quite interesting. It does look like 10 kills across from Perry, 12 from Respectful, just the 9 from Kimbo, but he's still going positive as well. On the Xmen side, Jimbo getting 12 kills, but still going -2 on the bottom as well. Chalky once again, -6. Struggling a little bit in this series, it would seem.
And there's one stat that jumps out to me there. The man who was smiling and then got quite angry quite quickly, Mo's 18-9. Wow. And that was a pretty quick game. As we say, 100 to 21 in 5 minutes 50. To get 18 kills in that time, incredible performance.
As Sims calls him, the Italian stallion from Malta, going +9. He doesn't need his route.
Make sense?
It doesn't, but he is. That's what he is. That's the best way to describe him. He is +9 and he doesn't have his router with him either. He doesn't even need the internet anymore. He is on LAN, and I'm really impressed, actually. I mean, we've seen him time and time again just kind of suffer to these defeats. He had such an upsetting time at the EMEA finals. I genuinely think I saw him in tears at one point, but now just look at the difference. Look how happy these guys are. And you've got to say, 2Foxy, that addition halfway through the season, obviously leaving the Xmen as well, it's been a big game changer for Fabi. It's added a lot to their team, actually.
Absolute masterstroke. People questioned it when it happened. People were like, how can you drop Snakey? Like, you've won every single game in a dominant fashion. 2Foxy, for me, has been in the top 3 players in Europe for as long as I can remember. Not just individually, but the way he plays the game. I've always said, I think 2Foxy is the closest we have to a player who plays in that American play style. He's hyper aggressive, and when you put him alongside 2 other players who seem to be picking that play style up in Mose and Respectful, mix that with Kimbo, who is just solid all round, that's a dangerous, dangerous squad. And they are just 1 game away from finding themselves in the final, and they are 1 series away, potentially, from dropping that little chokers tag that they had.
Yeah, and game 4, we're going to go into Fathom capture the flag. Stasis was unsurprisingly banned from Fabi. We've seen it banned a lot today in general. Colosseum banned from the Xmen, but so Fathom capture the flag. Xmen have already won it once today. They are 2-3 across the whole season if you include today's games. On the other side, 4-1 for Fabi. So they have lost on it before. They can be beaten, but they have still yet to lose a game against any other Pro League team at finals today, which I just think is an absolutely outrageous statistic if you think this was across 5 weeks plus today.
It is insane. Their consistency is, for me, has been what sets them apart. And the way that they've been so consistent, they have not just won these games, they have dominated so many of them. So if you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Fabi versus Xmen. Xmen find themselves down 3 games in a best of 7. It is do or die right now for the Xmen. Final game for Fabi, and they will advance to the finals. If they can take this, it's going to be capture the flag on Fabi.
I've got to say, actually, I mean, we were speaking to Foxy. He did say he thinks Vibe potentially the 2nd best team here. They look more comfortable now against Xmen than they did against Vibe, so maybe he's got something to say there. But the men on your screens there, kind of Mo's just been doing absolute work. Kimbo, he's kind of been a little bit quiet, actually. I remember EMEA regionals, he was screaming when he won. So if they do win this one, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up, maybe even throws a chair. That's the kind of player that he is when he gets that excited. But don't do that, because the stage looks so nice.
Exactly, and those chairs are actually quite expensive.
They are very expensive.
Incredibly comfortable. That's me trying to get one. But yeah, as you say, Kimbo, we've talked about him a little bit, me and Sims actually on the HCS listening, when we talked about he's the type of player sort of outside of the game, he's quite loud and bubbly, but inside the game, he's just got ice running through his veins. And when you're alongside some emotional players like Respectful, like your Moses, he really adds to the sort of the chemistry balance in that team just by keeping it cool, calm, and collected.
Well, speaking of Mose, he's the kind of player I want to be watching at the start of this game. We know what Mose and Respectful are like on this map. They like to flank around together, get into that base, get those flag pulls, and then 2Foxy is there to block the spawns and start the spawn trap.
Well, let's start this one off with Mose again, and it would not surprise me one bit to see him flying in for this railgun, because this man knows exactly how to put this weapon to use. He's actually taken down by a splinter nade from Jimbo here, and I think that camouflage was actually picked up top middle, I believe, by one of the players, and it was actually taken down. So Kimbo was going to burn that one, and it seems like every time we talk about camouflages, Kimbo is almost magnetized straight towards him.
Yeah, he's always timing it, he's always on board. You know that him and Havoc are in sync, and Havoc's just calling out every single power-up and every power weapon, because you know that Kimbo's going to listen. Like you said, he is a little bit quiet. The flag was pulled, actually. This is a nice early flag, so we will see if they can get this one. It's in the hands of Respectful. He's pulling this across through Treehouse as his flag was out as well. He's going to throw that towards his team, but he is going to be challenged by Chalky and taken down.
Fantastic shots by Chalky there. He's going to hop on this return and put that one back at home. And look at this. One of the Xmen players is actually pulling this one out. It's going to be Snipe Drone. That's 2 dead for Fabi here. Snipe Drone going to re-pick that flag up, get it through bottom mid, and this looks like it could be the first flag, because Jimbo has actually got a railgun as well. So Jimbo's going to be the player to watch here. Scoops this one up. Is actually taken down by a grenade from Mose here, and I don't think there's actually many players in position. It's actually 2Foxy and Respectful pushing through the garage, and they're going to get this return.
Yeah, 2Foxy's actually pulled one of the flags out of the base, but he will be greeted by Ramirez. Ramirez needs to be careful, but actually they get the trade, I believe, and they Brandon, Respectful, will try and hop on that one, but he's going to die. We will stay on board with
It wasn't
Foxy
returned.
off the respawn, but yeah, it doesn't look like it was returned, and that is going to be 1-0 actually to the Xmen. So finally, they get a point on the board, and they finally maybe have asserted themselves somewhat into this series.
Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe they did not return that flag. Respectful and 2Foxy had more than enough opportunity to do so, but that obviously miscommunication or something happened there. Xmen took perfect advantage of it and find themselves 1-0 up in Fathom, capture the flag. Mose is going to be taken down now. Let's go over to Jimbo. I want to spend some time on the Xmen side of things at the moment to see how they're playing this one. Jimbo, such a strong performance at the Halo World Championships, really established himself as one of the top players, maybe not just in Europe, but in the world. And he's been a bit quiet so far. Actually going to be taken down with that railgun. Let's hop on board with Ramirez, doing his best to stay alive, but 2Foxy is too smart for that. Finds him, puts some shots. He's no shields now. Trying his best to stay alive. Respectful is going to take him down.
Yeah, 3 players were taken down there by the Xmen at an important time, actually, when the railgun was up. The camo's now up as well. Chalky tries to grab it, but he gets taken down. Mose has the railgun in hand. He did actually throw a flag out, but he's now going to support his teammates. Kimbo is running this flag in, but he's getting put shots in his back as well, so we will see if Mose actually can support this whatsoever.
So Mose creeping around in the garage here. Does take down Jimbo when he was no shields there. Fantastic shot with that railgun. Actually gets a hit marker there. Kimbo jumps in, cleans that one up. So Mose doing a lot of damage on the map at the moment. Spots Jimbo pushing back to his base, actually just baiting that flag out. 2 players actually stuck in the generator, and I like what I see here from Mose, actually doing his best to stay alive, decide not to challenge those kills. Is eventually taken down. Snipe Drone now trying to put up a bit of a defensive stand, and Xmen coming under pressure here from Fabi.
And we've seen this before from Xmen. They like to just keep a couple of players in that kind of gen spawn when they know they're on the defensive. They wait until they get 1 or 2 players down, and that's when they'll push out. It was very effective when they won this game earlier, and now they're trying to do it again. They are 1-0 up, and Fabi have already shown that they have lost this game during Pro League, so they can bleed. Xmen obviously need to win this if they want any chance of getting back into this series, as they are 3-0 down.
Well, Snipe Drone pulling off some pretty fancy dance moves there to stay on the map. But I want to hop over to Ramirez, actually, because he has the railgun, as we see Kimbo in the kill feed, once again picking up a double kill. And the amount of times we will see a player like Kimbo picking up double kills, just finishing off kills, as we say, always in those power positions to finish off kills created by his teammates, is so impressive, and a real mark of this squad. He's now going to be challenging Chalky. Chalky doing desperate things to stay away. Chalky actually hits the stick, so fantastic trade there from Chalky. Fantastic individual play, making sure that Kimbo had no advantage on him.
Yeah, Jimbo getting shut down as well there. Moses just waiting for this railgun to come up. It's going to be up in just 2 seconds. Needs to be careful he doesn't get hit by some grenades. Uncontested, actually. So, no players from the Xmen want that railgun, or at least they didn't know it was coming up, but there is a little bit of an indicator on your screen to let you know that is going to happen. So clearly they just weren't in position. Camo will be coming up soon as well, but Kimbo is moving this flag across the map. Can the Fab E squad get a flag on the board?
That was 4 dead as well there for Xmen. Fantastic stuff. Kimbo started all off with a double kill in the base. That is going to be 1-1. They tie up the game 1-1, and look at this Mose, and he has camo railgun again. How many times in this series have we seen Fabi on top of every single power weapon, every single power-up, and they are just giving themselves the best opportunity to win these games. Mose picks up the double kill, gonna continue running this flag with camo. I'd like to see him potentially drop this off to his teammate, which is exactly what he's trying to do. Jumps up top mid. He's actually going to be baiting this flag now. There is a player 1 shot down there. Jimbo going to be taken down by Mose. This is a huge potential kill. If he can pick this one up on Snipe Drone, he's going to now continue running this flag. Fantastic decision making from Mose. Talk us through that play, Dan, because that was absolutely perfect play.
Mose is just playing out of his skin right now. He's just using this camo to full effect, being very patient, knows he's not on radar, jumped up to top mid, waited, baited out the flag, and uses the railgun to full effect. He is taken down, so let's hop across, see what Kimbo's got to offer. But I think the main thing about this series is Fabi have just had every single power-up, every single power weapon. They've won those team fights when it's mattered. Whenever there are 3 or 4 down on the Xmen squad, it's usually when a power-up or a power weapon is coming up.
So now if we can schedule up a listen-in with Fabi Gaming, I want to see how hyped up they are in the game at the moment. We're staying on board with Kimbo though for the moment, because he is the man who's doing so much damage in this game, but he's going to be taken down. And look at this, 2 players from 2Foxy, 2 players from Fabi are just crouching the gen. It's Respectful and 2Foxy, so let's jump straight into that listening with Fabi.
One shot, I got it. Nice, one down. Randy, we're back. You went all the way back. Rail in 5. Rails on tree. Rails in red tree right now. I'm running through that tree. 2 in that tree. One shot on mid, Jimbo. Jimbo's dead. Nice, one dead. Come in, one shot. It's an Just run this, Perry, run this. I'm watching. Just throw it to me. Man, on me, one shot. It's up, it's too easy.
And as we jump back in the game is over because 2Foxy puts in that last flag. Look at Mose, look at those Fabi players. 4-0, Dan. It's like you know. It's like you've got a crystal ball. 4-0 to Fabi. They knock Xmen down, and that is incredible stuff from them and a real marker in this tournament.
Wow, that sent chills through my spine. When you just saw Respectful and Mose just embrace there, you could see how much it means to these guys. They are really proving themselves. I'll see if I can take a look at any of the statistics if the players have left them on their screens. They haven't, so I can't see them for now, but I mean, Mose has really been my MVP of this game and probably of the tournament so far. You can kind of see the flag grabs there, but we don't actually see any of the kill statistics there, which is unfortunate, but I mean, great work there, especially timing power-ups and power weapons in general. Fabi just looked on top of everything.
I want to talk about the release of emotion and how much that series meant to those players. You could see everything. They put everything into that series, and the reaction and that fantastic listening we had at the end of the game showing how much that meant. But even in that situation, they managed to still be communicating with each other. But let's have a look at these kills, Dan. Talk us through these.
Yeah, Ramirez struggling a little bit at the bottom, 5 and 10. Chalky making up for his earlier games with a 15 and 9. And actually, across the board, the slays look pretty similar. Mose going +3, Kimbo going +3 as well. Foxy actually going -2, but 13 assists. And that's exactly what I was expecting from Foxy on that game. He's so incredible at controlling spawns. And I know we didn't get to hear much of the listening if we had got it earlier. He just commands his team, and he will sit in that gen, make sure he blocks spawns, and encourage his team to run the flag in the correct way.
Absolutely incredible stuff, and what a series from Fabi Gaming. I think, Dan, right now, I know we haven't seen them in the final yet. They've still got another series to play, but I think it is time to throw away that Chokers tag from Fabi. They are the real deal. You have to agree with me, surely.
Of course. Yeah, they are the real deal. I mean, Respectful and Mose have now asserted themselves as top European players, and they've got Kimbo and Foxy have already kind of proven themselves at the Halo World Championships before. So we have a real incredible team in our hands here, and they're going to be loving the fact that they could be potentially moving towards America as well. But I do believe Mr. Andrews down on the floor has an interview with the man himself, Mose.
That's the man himself. Thank you very much, Gaskin. So there we go. We've just come out of a series. The losers bracket series went all the way. 4-3 in the end, and we'd replayed a map to get there, and it comes down to 1 point on the final map. That is as close as any series can go, and that's the losers bracket. Now we're up here, winners bracket, 4-0. Round of applause, please, everybody here for Fabi. I know you've already given them one. What a performance. Mose, no good at LAN.
I've got nothing to say, really.
There you go. You've put it all out on there and you've made a huge statement. That is, as the guy said, an incredible statement here at the Pro League Finals. I'll ask you a silly question now. Happy with that?
Of course we are. We're playing really well, and we're going to get this tournament. We're prepared. So I think we're playing really well, and we're going to take this.
There you go. Now, at the start of the season, everyone was thinking Xmen were going to win this whole thing. You know, expectations on them, the players they had. Now they've come into the finals, 3rd seed, and you guys completely undefeated. So clearly you've come into this, we'd say, for finals weekend. You know, you're the favourites, you're the 1st seed and so on. But back at the start of the season, those guys were meant to walk away with this. How did you walk away 4-0 over them?
Since we lost till MEAs, I've never played so much Halo in my life. I wanted that delusion in MEAs. Me and Brandon just played so much Halo. That gave us all the motivation to get this.
Yeah, well said. Really appreciate it here. I'll tell you something particularly special about that. In your opening series today, when you were playing against Vibe, you were winning rounds, and this audience were going, okay. Like there was a moment when like you were getting a tiny bit of applause for winning a map, but clearly there were a lot of people here who wanted to see that whole underdog thing. A lot of people here saying, we want to see Vibe turn it over on Fabi. You have won this crowd over. You have surely proven to a lot of people watching as well that you guys can take this. Next up, we're going to see Xmen play Vibe in the losers bracket final. Whoever loses that will be 3rd in this whole tournament, and the winner of that will be playing you. Do you expect Vibe to meet you in the final, or do you think we're going to have a rematch of what we've just seen?
I think Vibe will win. I think we're going to play Vibe in the finals. My boy Snakey is going to go huge, and Rob.
Snakey wants to see you again. So Xmen, you think you've broken them now?
Yes, we did. I think we've broken them.
I know you're going to say it's a team effort, but you have been MVP of that series. And I think a lot of people would agree with that, right? Some huge performances now. You absolutely obliterated them with that fuel rod. That was a mess and a glorious one as well. So Mose is the MVP of that one, and Fab E are in the final of the European Pro League Summer Finals. Let's find out in a few minutes who they are going to be playing when we bring you Xmen against Vibe. But before that, some fantastic action in those 4 maps. And let's go back up to the desk with Bryce and the guys to take that one apart.
Thank you very much. This one shouldn't take too long.
No. I love that guy, by the way.
Oh.
Luciano, my man Mose, he made plays that series. What a great guy as well.
Nothing like losing hard at the MEA to kind of give you that fire. And I was there, and the emotion in that room was palpable. It was genuinely heartbreaking. And to see him come back with that kind of fire and go, you know what? We got knocked down, and he's come back because I've never played so much Halo in my life.
Yeah.
That's a good attitude to have, and it's paying off. Still, haven't dropped the map to any team at the finals, not only here, but through the entire season. The only maps actually dropped was the Pulse and the Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
they're coming here, they're making a statement.
Completely right as well, and I just want to point back to that post-map interview. He got so emotional. You could just tell in his voice. He was, he's a little quiver in there. How much Halo him and Brandon have been playing. You can tell how much it means to him. I just don't know how you can hate the guy. He's the most lovable little guy in the world.
I don't think anyone does hate him, apart from maybe his opponents. Right now, they probably hate him a little bit, just a little bit. But all right, let's kind of crack into this one then. Let's talk about it. It was a beating, but Fabi, they seem to have a big supply of beatings to hand out at this event. So let's kind of cover it in a little bit of depth. Let's talk about map 1.
All right, so yeah, map 1 was Truth Capture the Flag, and Fabi just came out of the blocks like they did earlier on in the day. I mean, it was pretty much just the Fabi show all day long. I mean, it's been 2 Foxy, it's been Mose, it's been every single one of those players firing, and it never looked like it was out of Fabi's reach on this game type. Yes, Xmen tied it up 1-1 at one point, but then it came back 2-1, and then after that, Fabi just never looked back. They looked very strong, and just a lot of individual performances out of them.
Yeah, it's one of those pretty dominant 3-1s. Of course, you're only 2 flags separate those 2 teams on the score, but really it looked like Fabi had control of the map and the game throughout.
I think that's indicative of the entire series. It's difficult in this kind of scenario to not overplay how great they are. Because to be honest with you, the entire series, they just look comfortable, and this is what we're expecting from Fabi. As we move on to map 2, again, more of the same. It just seems like right now, they're an elite tier team. Fabi are an elite team. A team that right now, it's difficult to kind of pick anyone against them. We said this in the pre-match. We said, what do you say about Fabi, other than the fact that their opponents are pretty good? That's it. That's what the weakness is. Their opponents are pretty good. That's it. Other than that, there's nothing else you can fault them on.
Yeah, well, we're so used to seeing on Truth maps where Kimbo for Fabi just grabs the fuel rod. In the Slayer game, it was actually Mose. It was Mose, the man who was able to control that fuel rod, and all of Fabi really just do such a great job throughout the entire match. I mean, look at Respectful right here. Look at what he's got in his back pocket. There it is, the sword. I mean, it's 12-9 at this point. He managed to get sword kills, and this is something he's been doing all season long. Ramirez here at this point in the game did have the fuel rod control, and it was a little bit closer, but as soon as Kimbo, around the 36-point mark, I think it was around 36-36, Kimbo picked up the fuel rod, and it was pretty much curtains from there. I mean, look, at this point in the game, this is it right here. This triple kill here from Mose turned the tide, triple.
And here's what's wild as well. Look, it was 39-36. Keep an eye on that bottom right scoreboard. That's what the score was. 39-36. Mose gets that triple, and we're on to map 3. But that game ended, I believe, 50-40.
Yeah.
And when it was 39-36. So what a run to end that. But now we're here looking at Empire Strongholds.
Yeah, and I think, again, like you said, it was close between those 2 teams in the last map, but they pulled away. And this may be kind of the same story here, really. You never ever felt like Xmen were ever in complete control. You never thought, oh, they've got them, they've got Fabi on the ropes.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No, it certainly
didn't happen.
I called this in the green room. I said Xmen will get around 10 points. In fact, they did better than that. They got double the points than I expected them to. And that's just because Fabi are so good on this game type. It was just complete control throughout.
It certainly is. Now, moving swiftly on to map 4. We go into this, we're going to capture the flag, and for a lot of us here, we're sitting there going, right, yeah, this is a 4-0.
Yeah, basically. I mean, at this point, it was a formality. I mean,
keep in mind, though, Xmen had a good opening.
Actually got the first flag capture, but as soon as Mo's got this railgun, I mean, it was pretty much just all over. They were able to get map control. Xmen actually were able to get a few kills here and there, but they never really looked like fashioning a run after their first flag cap. And after that, Fabi kind of woke up in the game, and they got 3 caps pretty quickly.
Yeah, you heard it also when we were in the listening right at the end. You heard, even though Xmen had that first cap, Fabi just had too easy to themselves, and they were able to win that. A 3-1 win here, and then a 4-0 win in the series. They made pretty quick work of them.
Yeah, I remember the listening. It was actually too foxy. He just said literally at the end of the game, before the flag was even in, "Too easy, boys." That's literally all I heard.
Yep.
It was great, and just the individual plays coming out again from Fabi. Respectful here. Just get stopped at the goal line, and then that's the reaction. That's what it means to Mose. Oh, who's a warrior now, boys?
I have to say, yeah, Mose has been. I mean, he's been turned himself into a crowd favorite here over the course of the day. I mean,
it's not a handshake. He's not. No,
this is terrible.
No, he's going for the hug. Look at that. That's what he's going
so
for.
Emotional.
Is that hug.
That's Hollywood right there. You see the hug though?
Yeah.
That was
it was good. But
can we do that hug at some point?
Maybe
later on in the green room.
Be headsets and wires, but yeah, once we're out of here, for sure.
That seems like a poor excuse.
I'd like that. No, we're gonna do it right afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, again, we covered that briefly because it was quite one-sided, and I said this earlier on. I think for me, Fabi looked dominant. At no point did I doubt them. Even when they were 1-0 down that last CTF, I'm sitting there going, I just don't feel it. I just don't feel anything but Fabi right now. And then when you've got them and just turn up, you just go, yeah, that's it, we're good. They've got the railgun, or they've got the fuel roll cannon earlier on. Pretty much all over. And I think that's probably going to be the story. I think Fabi right now, this is their tournament to lose. I don't think anybody can really touch them. And anybody who does come against them again is going to be sitting there going, well, how on earth do we do this?
Right.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I actually really like the point that Mose raised in the interview. He actually thinks that Vibe is going to best the Xmen, and seeing how we saw Vibe earlier, they played very well against Fabi, obviously a closer series than the 4-0 indicates. I actually think Vibe might just best Xmen as well. Vibe looking very strong. Yes, they went to Game 7 with Infused, but I actually really like this Vibe team. And Xmen, after losing so quickly like that, they need to bounce back early in the series. Otherwise, I think Vibe could take that series as well.
And I think we're at a point, right, where Fabi will play a team in the finals that they 4-0'd.
Yes.
Is guaranteed.
Yeah.
So Fabi is sitting pretty as long as they play their game.
Pretty good advantage to have.
Yeah.
They're already measuring the trophy up. They're trying to figure out where they can put it. Like, this will go somewhere.
Who's taking this home,
is great.
boys? Who's taking this home? Dibs, definitely Dibs.
Either that or they've got an arc grinder out, and they're just going to start cutting it to bits.
Yeah.
Figure out, each person takes a portion, like a cake.
I don't think anyone's actually brought an arc grinder with them for the trophy.
They might have done.
I mean, maybe.
How do you know?
Yeah, that's a good
Did
point.
you search them on the way
We'll
in?
have to ask them. We'll definitely I'm pretty sure security must
I
have
think the
searched
better
them
question
on
is, does anyone have a bag that can fit that trophy, right?
That is a massive
You
trophy.
got to build a proper
Imagine getting on the train with that.
case for it.
Not only that, but getting on the train with it and having to explain to anyone who asks, why have you got such a massive trophy? Well, actually,
best at Halo 5, mate.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing.
Long story. There's a lot of conversations on the way home, that is.
Exactly.
All right, well, conversations aside, trophy aside, it's time to find out who will be playing for it in the grand final. There's one more spot left, and there's 2 more teams who have that opportunity to come up against the juggernauts that are Fabi. But before we get to that game, we are going to go to a quick commercial break. Coming up right after, of course, it's going to be Vibe versus Xmen. Don't go anywhere.